Why is nobody talking about the story of the two Nollywood filmmakers that were found dead in a vehicle on a set of a movie production? This incident happened on the 7th of February 2026. And from what we know, two Nollywood crew members, Mr. Gabriel Ime, popularly known as GT, and Mr. Ayodeji Walter, were found dead in a parked vehicle at the end of a working day while filming on a movie set in Lekki Phase 1, Lagos, Nigeria. Gostam and Ayodeji were known crew members in the industry, from what we are hearing. And for the most part, they both worked together in similar projects. And it was also said that they were friends outside of film production. It could be that it was film production that got them close, but they had a friendship outside of sets. Godstime was a lighting director, while Ayodeji was a cinematographer. And they were part of the creative team filming a movie scene at a location near Evercare Hospital in Lekki Phase 1. Godstime was said to own his lighting business where he rents lighting equipment for filmmakers. He also assists many production and work as gaffer sometimes. Ayodeji, a creative video maker, and on this day, a Saturday, the film production they were working with had chosen the location near Evercare. Some sources are even claiming that it was on the hospital grounds itself, Evercare Hospital, that the film set was situated at. Now, this is where it gets very confusing. On that day, Godstime and Ayodeji arrived very early to set up the scene, to set up the location with the lighting and with the design ahead of the actors, directors coming to film. So they were there very early, and they did their setups. And after they were done with all the technical tasks required by their departments, they decided to take a rest inside Godstime's vehicle, which was parked in the parking lot of the Evercare Hospital vicinity. They stayed inside the vehicle and turned on the air condition. Around 11 a.m., the welfare department went to meet them because they knew where they were and gave them food for the morning. And they received it and ate while inside the vehicle. And by this time, principal photography had begun. They had already started filming on the sets. The actors, the directors, the makeup, every other members of the crew department were already there beginning filming. But somehow, someway, the fact that two prominent crew members of that film production were not on set did not exactly ring a bell. I mean, at some point they noticed it because it was mentioned that while filming was going, they requested their services from time to time. They requested their work to be adjusted because obviously filming blockings would change. So the light would have to be fixed and move around. And when it came time for such to happen, they began reaching out to the crew members. They reached out to Godstime, and they also reached out to Ayodeji, who is needed on set. It's unclear what he was on for that set. He could have been a cinematographer, but why is filming going on without the cinematographer on set? So when they reached out to them, they didn't get any response. Other team members may have brushed it off and mentioned that they were asleep. And I am guessing that this is a big production set, which would mean that for Godstime and Ayodeji to be there, they had assistants who would cover up and fill in for them, because there is no way filming is going on and light is required to be moved around and the light guy is not there. They would have found these two people in the nick of time. But the fact that they probably had an assistant would make the production not need them that urgently, depending on the assistants of this department. And that was how they filmed for the whole day in that Evercare Hospital vicinity without the presence of Godstime and Ayodeji. And by the time filming was done and it was time for everybody to pack up, around 8 p.m., that was when Godstime and Ayodeji were discovered dead in the vehicle of the car that they had been giving food earlier on that day. It was mentioned that one of them was slumped, slanted in the seat with foam coming out of his mouth, while the other one just remained still, unresponsive, with nothing invisible in his mouth. It was reported that there was no obvious sign of struggle or breaking into the car, so the car was still closed and the car still seemed intact. There was no indication that they fought off anyone or somebody had broken in to hurt or harm them or cause their death. No indication that somebody broke the glass, no indication that they struggled to call for help, almost as though whatever happened to them happened very instant. without enough time for them to realize it was happening. The discovery was immediately reported to the police. Officers from the Lagos State Police Command arrived and took control of the scene. The two men were later moved to a hospital. Whether it was ever care, we don't know. And in that hospital, they were confirmed dead. The case was subsequently transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department for further investigation. As part of the investigation, an autopsy was conducted on the bodies of Godstime and Ayodeji to determine the cause of death. The autopsy results later show that food poisoning was not the cause of their death, because as at the time, the only person that had contacted them or that had seen them alive last was the welfare people who gave them food. So they were the only people amongst all the crew members that last saw them. And when this death was discovered, instantly, given the nature of what it looked like, they suspected poisoning. And so the welfare person was arrested along with other people, because we saw on the reports that arrest had been made. So they were suspecting the welfare person, which is not far-fetched, because it's a possibility. It's a high possibility, because she gave them food. And one might argue, didn't other crew members eat the same food? Why would it be them to die? The thing is, for welfare, since, I'm into production now, I have an idea of how the set works. So from what I know, the whole food for the cast and crew might be cooked in one pot, but when being dished out, it is separated. And I think it's part of the expertise to the welfare people to know which food belongs to which person. And I think in that note, there could be a possibility that if someone's food has been dedicated for them, it could be targeted individually from the rest of the food. So that is why it was a possibility, and people thought it could have been poisoning, targeted at both of them. But luckily for the welfare department, the autopsy came out and they were vindicated, because Ayodeji and Godstime did not die of food poisoning. What was even funny, according to the pathologist reports, is that one of them had an empty stomach, while the other one had a small amount of food in his, which was odd. It is not stated if they found the remaining part of the food in the car, because if one had an empty stomach after eating, then something is not right there. Is it possible they didn't eat the food? It's possible. But if they didn't, the food would have been seen on the set, in the car where they were found. So it wasn't mentioned. So if they did eat completely, how come there was just only a small amount of food, and how come the other one had an empty stomach? Again, my thoughts, they were giving this food around 11. So if they had eaten it and they were still alive up until 4, 5, 6, then probably their body had used it up for energy. I might be wrong, I don't know. But, if they stayed in that car all this time and they were alive all this time, then somehow sometimes the body fights when you're asleep to keep you alive. So that could be it. I'm not sure. Don't take my words from it. I'm not an expert in that department. Once food poisoning was ruled out, the welfare people who were detained were released, and the body samples of these victims were taken for another testing, some kind of toxicology testing, to see if they were exposed to any harmful chemical, poisons or gases, as most people are suspecting. Their family members were informed, and these additional tests could take about 2 to 3 weeks before the results will be available. So by now we should be getting some news on it. So stay tuned, stay following this page. When there is an update, we'll let you know. While the forensic work continues, the police are said to have still detained some other people. I'm guessing the filmmakers, although some sources are still claiming that the people who deliver the food are still a suspect. However, the general welfare person, I don't think that person is held accountable. The person who cooked might be different from the person who delivered the food. So for some reason, they're not looking into the food, but they're now looking into the two people, into the person who delivered the food to them. Because again, remember, one had an empty stomach and the other one just had a little amount of food. The case is still under investigation, as a lot of officials are waiting for the toxicology reports. Although I have a theory, and I don't know if this would make any impact. As many people believe, I also believe that it could be as a result of the oxygen, of the air condition that they turned on in the vehicle. We've seen situations like this. We've seen on multiple occasions where people are in their car and they just slump and die, and when they are found, they realize that the air condition was turned on. And most times, air condition being on for a long time in the vehicle starts to release poisonous gases. I don't know if that makes sense. So I don't know why that is the case, but being in a car locked up with a window and rolling air condition is not the best form of oxygen per se. Air condition does not equal oxygen condition. Every once in a while, it's important to crack the window open so that fresh air can come in. But if they relied so much on that air condition, slowly carbon monoxide might leak. And the bad thing about this carbon monoxide is that it's not something your nose can detect. It's not something, it feels like oxygen. We've said it before. One of the most dangerous weapons are chemical warfare, where certain chemicals and gases are released in the air, but you can't perceive them. The reason why we perceive our gas cooking or the gas for cooking is because they put the smell there. The original gas that we use to cook have no smell. If for some reason somebody releases those gas without the smell, everywhere will be on fire. Part of why we perceive our gas cylinders, the gas that comes out from our cooking gas, is because the people who make it puts the smell there as an indication. Naturally, it doesn't have a smell, and you could sit down here and breathe in the gas and you would not know. And carbon monoxide is one of those gases that does not have a specific smell. I might be wrong, but it may have a feel. At the early stage of it, if you are very aware, you could notice that the car atmosphere feels, I don't know, a little damp. You just start to feel a type of way. But if you're so mentally distracted with a mobile phone or on a conversation, or you're sleeping, you may not see that slight shift in what a fresh oxygen feels like to what this carbon monoxide poisoning feels like. That is why most cases of people dying of carbon monoxide poisoning are usually in a small space, in a packed house, in an apartment, and there are usually plenty in the house. A lot of the cases are usually similar like this. But the ones that die in the vehicle, I'm not very certain. I know of a man and a woman who were found dead in a vehicle on the daylight, broad daylight. It's unclear if it was overnight, but they were just found dead in the vehicle. So if they were talking and gisting, it's possible the gas seeped in and they did not realize. That is why you gotta be very aware. But I have a theory, and I have a theory that may change or impact the story. And my theory is, I believe that the two crew members, Gostam and Ayodeji, had been found dead earlier on before they were discovered around 8. The story is saying that they were discovered around 8 by the end of filming, but I call bullshit because these are two people whose departments are very important. So there is no way an executive producer or a director is filming a scene and the group heads are not there. And I think my theory is when the welfare went to give them food in the car around 11, that was when they were discovered dead. Because again, autopsy says that there was no food in one of them stomach, which means the person did not eat. And if he did not eat, where is the food that he was given? If it was not found in that car, then it's suspicious. The other person had a little amount of food, which would have been something he most likely ate the night before or earlier on that day while they were there. So if one had an empty stomach and one had a little amount of food, it means whatever food they were giving was not touched. And if it wasn't touched, then it should be in that vehicle where their body was found. So that, to me, does it. This welfare guy saw them and went to report to the production manager, who sees it and realizes that this is an emergency. However, that could interrupt production flow. That could interrupt filming for that day. Sometimes to film a day would cost a production as high as 5 million naira. If it's a big production, they would have spent almost 5 million naira on that particular day. And this project could have been a project of over 50, 60, 100 million naira. So this is a $1 million naira production. Shooting in Evercare Hospital, I'm sure that's going to cost a lot, because that is like the biggest hospital in Lagos, if I'm not mistaken, especially on the island. So that would cost a whole lot of money. And one day is all you have. And you don't want to use the whole day filing police reports, informing everybody that the 2 crew members are actually dead, because that would affect every other person's workflow. That would affect it. So I believe production managers and the executive, the team in that production had seen them dead earlier. This is just my theory, and decided that they were going to wait it out, keep it on the low, and finish filming for that day before they can basically take it seriously. If for some reason when they were discovered there was a little bit of life, they probably would have been rushed and there would have been a fighting chance. So the fact that whoever had gone to see them in that car had realized that they were indeed dead, it was important to just keep it on the low and finish production. I've heard of something similar happen on another set, and that happened. It's just unfortunate. One of my biggest nightmares as I venture into filmmaking is having to have somebody be injured on my production or lose their life. Oh my God, it's giving Junior Pope all over again. And it's a terrible thing. It's not a good thing. For a filmmaker, it's a nightmare. Not to mention, just last month we talked about the makeup artist that died in an explosion that he was testing out. It's not really easy. I have a newfound respect for filmmakers because it's not an easy thing at all. It's a very, very horrifying thing. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. But another thing again I will point out is that crew members are usually less cared for. I don't know. I feel like this story would have gone viral if these 2 guys were actors. If they were actors on the set and they lose their life, it's going to have been as big as, you know, the likes of Junior Pope's situation. But crew members, I noticed that when a crew member dies on the set or in the production or even outside of filming, in their personal lives, it's not as celebrated or talked about as actors. And it's sad. I wish this story got more press so that more people can learn from it. And I guess this would also, you know, probably help the industry change their attitude towards crew members, because I feel like they're just as important. It's unfortunate. I really hope that the filmmakers and the families of these young men are able to move past this. And it's sad. Production would have to go on. They will not halt production. However, if part of the people arrested are the production team members, then it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. This is going to cost production a lot of money. Man. I just feel bad.